So you should be able to open up the quiz either from there or from your student portal. It should show you the questions you got wrong. And we're gonna go through and talk about which questions maybe were commonly missed and what the correct answer should be, maybe the thoughts that you should be going through as you're answering these questions, okay? So number one, anybody need me to wait? You can throw it in the chat if you want me to wait a second. Okay. So chloroplast and mitochondria, I know they both come from that endosymbiotic theory, right? We said they have a lot of features that are similar to bacteria. So I'm gonna look for one of those features. So they do both contain DNA. We talked about how they have the circular DNA that replicates all by itself. So the rest of these are false. Bacteria, they don't have any organelles whatsoever. Chloroplast and mitochondria are both considered organelles. So this was one of the most commonly missed questions. Number two, if you're exercising, you're gonna need a lot of energy. So you wanna think which organelle creates energy, and it's the mighty mitochondria, right? So D, 2 is D. I might have gave you the answer key, I forget. 3, the skeletal system for humans would be like what for the plants? So if they're offering support in a framework, that would be the job of the cell wall, B. Number 4, plants and fungi, both eukaryotic cells, right? They both have spores, which maybe we didn't mention that, I forget. This would have been from the types of cells lecture. They do both have plant cell walls, one made of chitin, one made of cellulose. They do both have mitochondria. They would need energy. They don't both have chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are only found in green plants, and as far as these more complex organisms, they're in green plants, some of your protists, and some of your bacteria. So C is the answer. This I can tell right here is the mitochondria. We talked about all the folding inside of the membranes. For any of the structures, we talked about the folding increasing surface area so it can do more work, right? And the work of a mitochondria is to make energy. So by folding up the membrane, they can make more energy, C. Number 6 was a commonly missed question. So multicellular is going to limit us to the eukaryotic cells. Has a nucleus, mitochondria, and a cell wall. So there's only 2 types of eukaryotes that have cell walls, the fungi and the plants. So of these, the only one that does is a plant, C. So number 6 was also a commonly missed question. Number 7, another life form, single-celled, could be either pro or eu, has a cell wall, still could be either. It does not have membranes or organelles. So now I've ruled out any eukaryotes. Only prokaryotes are without membrane-bound organelles or nuclei. Number 8, genetic information. So I know that it's in the nucleus for all eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotes don't have a nucleus, so it's found in a space, and that space is the nucleoid. So this is going to be D. 9, the most notable difference between the two, I know that prokaryotes don't have nuclei and they don't have organelles. So looking through here, the absence of organelles in prokaryotes, D. Number 10, which of the following are made of cells? All of our body is made of cells. So I'm going to pick both, the muscle and the brain, A. The role of the lysosome, remember lyse means to break apart. So I know this is the garbage disposal of the cell. It does the digesting. So I'm going to look for an answer having to do with that. So D. Number 12, passageway transport system. So that's endoplasmic reticulum, C. 13, centrioles are only found in animals and they're used for cell division, A. 14, chloroplasts, they're found in some of our bacteria, some of our protists, and all plants. So 14 is going to be the one that includes them all, C. And I believe that was the most commonly missed question. 15, the ribosome makes proteins, so I'm going to go with D. 16, if it reproduces by binary fission, that's going to be a bacteria. So I'm looking for the prokaryotes, B. If it's multicellular, it has to be a eukaryote. 17 is A. 16 might have been a commonly missed question. 17 is A. 18, so looking for things related to eukaryotes. They can be unicellular. Yeast is a unicellular eukaryote, so are some of our protists. They can reproduce sexually. They can reproduce asexually, depending on the organism. They do not have free-floating DNA. It is found within the nucleus. So C is our accept. 19, 4 common things between all cells. They have a plasma membrane, ribosomes for making proteins, cytoplasm to contain it, and DNA somewhere in the cell. So A. Number 20, you did not have this question. I have no idea why, because I deleted the form you guys took and put this one in when I discovered it was a double question. But then I had it and you didn't, so that was weird to me. Number 20, modifying and packaging is the Golgi, B. I wondered why everybody missed it, because probably your answer key went with your duplicated question. So B. 21 was a repeat of prior knowledge. Remember, I said we don't leave a chapter behind. So you could also just interpret this graph. I can see that this is working best at a specific pH. Above that, below that, it doesn't work. So D, above and below that pH, is going to alter its ability. And number 22, genetic coding. This doesn't say genetic, but when it says coding, we should assume that. So that is nucleic acids, D. What I saw in general, the things that we struggled with is information related to chloroplasts and mitochondria, and then differentiating between types of cells. So I would review the types of cells PowerPoint from 2 weeks ago. Okay. What questions do you have on the test quiz?